Today we have a demo of Dubai Air Show, our live streaming trading sessions, and I'm going to demonstrate how to log in, what you can obtain. And the reason I'm doing this today, there is a special reason, a very important one, and I'm going to discuss it in detail since it's going to be part of a famous case study, one of the best in history of the stock market. You are looking at the website, and if you want to know more about Dubai Air Show streaming session, you find it here by clicking on live streaming, learn more. And I'm going to do this on 4K monitor. Here you find information about the program, how it works, features included, and so on. I'm not going to buy tickets, I'm just going to show how to obtain this information, how to log in. You click on login, and I'm going to use an account. Bear in mind that you don't have to use any username or password. You can log in with any of these available social networks. Click on login, and once you click on login, you are going to land on your account. So by visiting the main page members, you then here find several areas: setup, the methodology, learn how to use it, several service, and see it live. Here you have Dubai Air Show. So you just have to click on join the session. Obviously here it is supposed that to get or you have to insert your password. Since this is already a customer, it does not have to do it. Therefore, you have here an example of what you obtain today in this session. And you can change here to full screen by clicking here on this icon. If it does not work, it's very simple. You just refresh the browser. Since we make use of cache, you can also change from high definition to standard definition. And I repeat, if it does not work, you refresh the browser and it will work. So you can see here live. This is happening live, and if you can see this on any mobile device. So one of the stocks that you see here today, Tesla Motors, it is on this on left hand side. Bear in mind, this window that you see here, all this area, is precisely what you obtain by logging into Dubai Air Show session. So you can see here, and this obviously is a demo, therefore all this area here does not exist. So you obtain this as a viewer of the Dubai Air Show. Today we have Tesla Motors at 205. This is very important since last year in 2014, and what I'm going to say, you find all this information on the website. Let's take a look at Tesla Motors chart, long-term chart. I upgraded this company for the first time to strong buy. The stock was priced around $40. And at that time, Wall Street analysts, they had a sell rating on the stock, even with Tesla Motors at $60, even with Tesla Motors at $80, they maintained sell ratings on the stock, as you all remember. And only once Tesla Motors became a darling in Wall Street, finally analysts, they started upgrading the stock, namely in 2014 and 2013. So you'll find in our website several case studies discussing Tesla Motors, live trade calls, and we always got it right. So last year in 2014, very complex market call, I recommended to sell Tesla Motors within a very specific range, and that range to be $265 to $285. And bear in mind what I'm saying is this is very important, because when I said to sell Tesla Motors within 265 to 285, that price didn't exist. I'm referring to namely 285. The stock was not trading at 285, it was trading at 260 plus, but not at 285. So there was a plan that I defined, a plan to make at least $35 million in the US market in this particular stock, Tesla Motors. And the plan, it was to sell, to quit the long side in Tesla Motors, and to acquire a significant short position on the stock. So but several months later, by the end of December 2014, you had then Tesla Motors trading or priced below $200, and today you can see that the stock is around $205. So this is a very important and remarkable achievement, because during this process, as you all remember, precisely a similar situation happened in Netflix. When I downgraded Netflix, I also had Netflix as a strong buy at 52.86, and then last year I downgraded Netflix for the first time to strong sell, and in fact I believe that I was the only one with a strong sell rating in Netflix. But more important, I made that call at 472, precisely on that day that you find on the website video that was recorded live, where on that day Goldman Sachs, they were the team or the analyst, the analyst was upgrading Netflix to $590. And you all know what happened, because later on, and that was basically the top, later on, Netflix plunged basically almost to $300. And today, Netflix, it is a stock that is trading at this price that I'm going to show you here, $330. And this is a price. Just have to imagine, if you assume that you invest that in Netflix at 472, imagine how much you could have lost by buying or investing in Netflix when the analyst was upgrading. So the same situation happened precisely in Tesla Motors. Analysts, they raised the targets, they had strong buying ratings at that time in Tesla Motors, and they raised the targets to $400, in fact some of them to $400 plus, while I was recommending to close entirely long positions, reversing to the short side. So the remarkable and the complexity of this is obviously very complex. I had a clear vision that the stock was not going to pass that range, and by not passing that range, to turn to be one of the best, in fact, opportunities on the short side. And this, as a contrarian play, or having a contrarian opinion compared to everyone else. And this important correction materialized, and therefore the plan that I had, that I shared with you, to make at least $35 million, it worked. So the stock plunged, and if you invested, for example, in these darlings in Tesla Motors at $280 or in Netflix at $470, today you are in a dramatic, I would say, very poor situation if you had not already lost entirely your account. Because there are people that they add continuously to their positions, and I will not be surprised, because I talk to many people, and people that they call, people that they tell the truth, and people that they lost, for example, their accounts by investing in a company that I already addressed, Twitter, that was a bubble and meanwhile crashed. In that to crash, that was another example of a stock that Wall Street was upgrading and raising targets precisely at 56 when I was recommended to sell short most. and that was not in fact the first time that I was recommended to sell short Twitter. The major opportunity came when the stock traded to $73, where you also find on the website information about it, and live trade calls. It is everything, it was recorded live. But I'm very happy because in the end the plan that I designed not only for Twitter, Netflix and Tesla Motors, it worked, it was perfect. So all these visions that I had for all these stocks, they were perfect, and in the end this the key to achieve all this is to read the market and not to trade or to invest based on stock analyst projections or stock gurus. So today we are publishing this important case study in Tesla Motors. Since the stock it is trading at this price 205. It is not the first time that the stock plunges. You could see it on the chart. And the same situation I had to mention about Twitter, about yesterday we published another case study, a very important one. You find it here in Lululemon, the stock opportunity that if you want to know more about it, it came last year in 2014. The stock against also analyst projections, they were downgrading the stock at the very bottom when I was recommended to cover short positions, and that in fact coincided with one of the sessions Dubai Air Show. So I think that this program, this service is quite interesting for those that they wish to know more how to invest in the markets, where we announce these things that they, I believe, are important for active investors, but not only for active investors. We explain how to invest in stocks using ETFs. We often also give directions. We comment on certain companies like this one that you see here, Herbalife. This Herbalife is other terrific example of immense opportunity on the short side that was discussed for free in the blog of the company. Herbalife, a stock that plunged, a stock that we were recommended to sell short in 2014, precisely at the top. At that time I called Herbalife one of the best investments on the short side on a long-term basis. And 1 year later, you have the Herbalife at basically $30. So this is not a surprise. If you wanted to invest in Herbalife, it had to be on the short side. And you have all this information, how to do it, clear instructions and the targets and so on the website, recorded on video, video on demand. But also for those that they wanted to trade Herbalife, you also had the service for real-time trade alerts. And not only Herbalife, as well as in more than 100 stocks, we do this. And this is just an example. So if you, as a viewer of the Dubai Air Show, this is what you get, this is what you see. Sometimes, obviously, we are in a studio, we are in a different place. Today we are here, and I'm very informal situation, but the important are the results and what you get. And so also here we also mention information that is quite sensitive, and in fact there are people that they are achieving 3 to 4 digit return on investment when compared to what they pay for these sessions, live streaming sessions. So in 2015, eventually what we are going to do compared to 2014 is to extend, you see that there is a delay, you see there on the screen there is a delay between what I'm saying and what you get there, and that is the normal delay that exists. This is common, so if you are used to the live streaming, this is a technique, is not a technical problem, it is common. So I was saying that in 2015 what we are likely to do in this service Eventually it is to extend it. I'm not sure yet because it depends on our availability, but instead of going live twice per week, maybe we can extend it to 3 or 4 times per week, and we can eventually make it longer than 1 hour, 1 hour and a half. So I think that what we accomplished in 2014, it was dramatically important. I remember that I discussed the sessions in Dubai Air Show, recommendations, very important ones, for example, in the case of Amazon during the bull market, up to $400. It was here a party when the stock traded to $400 at that time. Thereafter, obviously, Amazon, it was sold and we downgraded the stock. Today, you already know the story about Amazon. But many other stocks, Valero, I remember the case of Valero, a very important one. I don't know, there are so many that you find in the blog of the company, many of the case studies, many of the calls, they were actually shared with some or many of you, or most of you that you participated in this program. So this is what I can say today, and I hopefully you got an idea about what is Dubai Air Show. I repeat, a very informal session where I just communicate this important fact of being short Tesla Motors, while probably I would say more than 90% of market participants, they didn't believe that Tesla Motors, a few months later, it was going to be a stock trading below or near $200, having in mind all those upgrades by a famous between brackets Wall Street analyst. The same can be said about Herbalife. None of them bet on the Herbalife crash. In fact, I'm aware of one fund manager that bet on it, and we agreed on that perspective. The same situation can be said about Netflix. No one believed that Netflix, I would say, it will be trading almost $200 below Wall Street projections. The same can be said about Lululemon. That is other stock that you have there on the left-hand side, a stock last year that no one wanted, a stock that it was, in my opinion, one of the companies, a very good investment going in 2015, and the stock did very well all the way up to $59, and we are very happy because it corresponds this to more than $20 per share in terms of profits, and is on long side after accomplishing the crash in Lululemon. And the same can be said about the Qs, the power shares that we use every single day, teaching investors and traders all over the world how to invest in the stock market, always using ETFs. Not only trading the ETFs, but also investing in the markets using the ETF that I would say less than 1% in the world they are doing it. They don't know how to invest in the market using the ETFs, and I'm not only referring to the power shares QQQs, but there are many ETFs in the financial sector. For example, you have this one. In the housing market, you have this one. So there are ETFs for everything basically. Chinese for currency. We also have a case study on this one here. So the Pro shares, this short the euro. There are many instruments in the stock market, and in these sessions we discuss many, and therefore I think that this opens your horizons, it opens your mind to things that they are important, and what is important in fact is to be able to read the market instead of following or believing in Wall Street analysts, that most of them they don't have, in fact, they are not trading, they have never traded, and their objective is to sell an idea or to find customers or someone that believes in their idea or opinion for whatever reason. And in many cases also, although obscure, there are other objectives behind those upgrades or downgrades. I still remember, for example, in 2009, there was a famous analyst downgrading American Express at $11. Imagine someone that downgrades American Express at $11. I think it is a crime. But there are people. Everyone is entitled to have an opinion, unfortunately. And there are people, and behind some of these investment houses, there are people that they have a kind of license to kill, and without any limits whatsoever, kind of Madoff. So the same individual, for example, similar situation happened in Lululemon, where analysts last year was downgrading the stock at $38, basically, or $39. And I think that was a crime, because why are you going to downgrade a company at $38 if in fact the company it was a strong sell when I called it, and that was ahead of a crash? So why are you going to downgrade the stock after the crash? Pretty much like the case I remember in a couple of years ago, when we called the crash in Apple all the way down to $400, in fact $386. Only then upgrading the stock to strong buy. I remember Credit Suisse and many others, they came out downgrading Apple at $400, and today they have strong buy ratings in Apple. So my friends, though this is the way it works, I think the mechanics of the stock market, all these games, they have been very well explained here in more than 100 sessions that we had last year. And we have, in fact, we had to interrupt the service for quite a while because we had also priorities, other things to do. But we explained the games in these stocks, and I think that you don't need to be in every single stock in the market. You can follow the activity in 2 or 3, and you can trade for a living, basically, in all of them without any I would say a very moderate risk, provided you know very well what you are doing. And so to know very well what you are doing, we also provide tools, resources that you find in the website, the basic trading course, which I believe that is very important, since the basic trading course describes the methodology, it describes it live, and it has been teaching you how to trade and to invest in this company, this IPO, GoPro, and this since the very beginning. So every call that we made in GoPro, we were behind every major move in GoPro. So I don't understand, quite frankly, how it's possible to lose money in the stock market if one that had access to the information that we have been revealing all the time in GoPro. You just have to look at our case studies. For example, the most recent one, it was to sell this stock, I think it was around $69. Today the stock, or yesterday the stock, was trading below $60. So we are behind every single major move in GoPro, and is either on long side or on short side. The most recent rating in GoPro, the stock was downgraded from strong buy to strong sell, and you find it at $95 plus, precisely that call that is unique in the world. So this is not only about Tesla Motors that we find today at 205, it's about also GoPro, the Qs, the Herbalife, the Alibaba, the Lululemon, and many other stocks, more than 100 that we discuss in the service, and where we have been able to follow up them, the oil crash, the oil stocks, the case of Schlumberger, the case of Halliburton. And I believe this is very important because it helps you to correlate all this information, and by being able to correlate all this information, including the crash in Russia, the example of Yandex, or the famous case last year, this company Pandora Media, that was trading around $40, a bubble stock that no one believed that could crash. This corresponded to my, in fact, Pandora Media, you find it on the website, my largest short position in the US stock market. It was revealed for free on the website. But you had the opportunity to make large profits in many other stocks, like this in Sears Holdings. And so, you know, I'm very happy for the results accomplished in 2014. Last year we published a record here in terms of profits and also in terms of number of case studies in the past 2 decades. Quite frankly, I don't believe that in 2015 we are going to publish the same number of case studies, because that is not my aim. And I think that the most important service right now, and I have to confess that the results obtained with Video on Demand, they were amazing. I think that the most important service right now, our focus, it will be this collaborative trading and the Dubai Airshop. So I'm going, since I already showed you this, I'm going to log out. And to log out, I think this is locked now because of the screen resolution. So we just refresh this. I repeat, I'm showing you this on a 4K monitor, okay? So let's just see if this, well, still not working there, I don't know why. Well, and I'm going to finish. So this is what I wanted to say. I think that the session here, it is locked here. All right, so we click here. I'm not going to sell you anything today, never sell you anything. In fact, I don't like to sell anything. I don't like work more than what I already have. And I invite you also to visit the blog of the company. I believe it is a free resource. Our also page on Facebook is quite. You just click here on Facebook. There is a link here, I believe. Follow on Facebook. You find there many comments, videos, and so on. And I do believe that, and I do believe because I have the proof of this. For example, I received an email from one individual that made important profit in one of our case studies recently published. It was the case with, here you find the case of Lululemon, so how to invest in stocks in 2015. I think it's interesting because it gives you there the links for that analyst that was downgraded the stock precisely at the bottom. You find here also interesting free lessons on our free trading course. There is a free trading course, which I believe that has important lessons. And one of the lessons, one of the case studies that I was going to refer to, it was the case of that speculative company, pretty much like Pandora Media. That is the case of El Pollo Loco. El Pollo Loco, it is the example of other stock discussed in the basic trading course last year, besides GoPro. and where they had all the information, where to, in fact, I told them that El Pollo Loco, basically, it was not going to be a stock performing as GoPro. So they had the information if they wanted to sell short the stock. But you'll find here I believe the case studies about this one that is included in El Pollo Loco. I think that one is in fact available if we visit the marketplace. Here the marketplace, you have more than 100 products that you can buy or subscribe to, including the stock market, the live streaming, this Dubai Air Show. We are going likely also to make it eventually different, in the sense that you instead of buying here, eventually you can buy on a kind of paywall. That is one of the things that we are studying. But the case study I'm referring to is this one. So this, in fact, two examples. I think also I remember this. If I'm not mistaken, this was the case of exactly Plug Power. Plug Power, it was other wonderful historical call. At the top, selling the stock at the top and reversing to the short side. Plug Power crashed, as I already, that was obvious that was going to happen. And so here it was an example of a stock where people had the opportunity to make millions on long side and millions on short side, my friends. No risk whatsoever in Plug Power. You don't find in any other company or any other person in the world with this call in Plug Power at precisely that price. So everything that we do, or everything that I do, it is recorded live, unlike Wall Street analysts that they just throw a number, a price. I still remember that guy from Topeka that had a target in Apple 1111, my friends. That I find it completely absurd. And this was ahead of a crash in Apple, where then in fact Apple became a very good buy, but after the crash, and not by following that idea of absurd criminal that had a target 1111 one day, because he probably woke up in the morning thinking that Apple was going to, whatever. So kind of Jim Cramer that said last year that Mobileye was going to be the IPO of 2014, and he recommended to buy Mobileye ahead of other important crash. The stock came down around $20 per share. So that is, my friends, is not a miracle. That those are facts that you find on the web, and they repeat the same mistake over and over. And we are here to discuss and to teach you precise, not only to fall into those dangerous situations, but how to profit from them, okay? So this case study that I was going to refer, it is the case of El Pollo Loco. This was available here, completely for free, and this person, what he did, it was, since this was recorded, you see, live, and I project the stock could fall all the way down to $20, you see here the price. Once I decided to cover or to take profits in El Pollo Loco, $20, the person, he bought El Pollo Loco, and then he also sold the stock at $24. But you say, I'm going to show you the El Pollo Loco. In fact, it is there here, $23. So those that they bought the stock, for example, El Pollo Loco, after the crash, when I covered the short position, they made the important profit then on long side, but you had to do it after the crash and not buying El Pollo Loco at $38, my friends. That was absurd. You had to do always the opposite of what they are saying, and never according what their projection or perspectives. That was completely absurd. That El Pollo Loco, it was a company, a bubble, and with a very poor management, and therefore El Pollo Loco is not going anywhere also. So I believe that I gave you a very good perspective, also this testimonial, which I consider relevant, because this individual is, I think, the second or the third time that submits a review, and he started by, I believe, I don't know, GoPro, and then he extended to Amazon, El Pollo Loco, Twitter, the US dollar, and so on. So thank you very much for your time, and I believe that you had very good idea currently what you can obtain in the live streaming show, the Dubai Air Show, which section I believe it is around, if I'm not mistaken, $250 or so. And currently it is sold out, but it is what it is. Thank you.